So there is, in many ways, a reminding of ourselves of how vital and important it is to rest when we feel to rest. We've been so conditioned in our lives to awake at a certain time, to eat at certain times, to go to sleep at certain times, and that serves us, and that's fine. But as changes occur within our body and our DNA and our memory and our pasts and our futures through the healing that we're doing now, um, it's really important that we allow the body to rest and heal itself completely as much as possible so that we can move forward with this renewed sense of self, renewed sense of being. What's more important is that on a larger scale, it feels that the Earth's tar body is what a lot of us are running up against within the tar body fields that we have collected through our auric bodies. And when I say tar body, we think about a collective field or layer that is a part of our aura that has almost a filter. In a way, it becomes a filter that easily becomes clogged, though, if we don't do the work, collecting emotional, mental, physical trauma, debris, pain, stress, fear, any and all pollutants in our bodies and our organs, collected from heavy medications, from abuse of certain medications, alcohols, drugs, anything toxic, anything that is of the dark, that is not of the light, anything that is guilt, that is pain, that is shame, that is blame, that is fear, that is jealousy, that is all this dark and muddy kind of energy. And when we're not facing our fears, when we're not facing our shadows consciously, in ways throughout our lives, what happens is this layer begins to become greater and greater and greater and thicker and thicker and thicker, becoming a larger part of what we carry around as ourselves in our energy field. And this, in a sense, can draw more tar to it by simply being that tar, radiating that energy, magnetizing that back to us. So we find that things that trigger us off in other people will be highly charged. That will happen more and more often. Those sort of situations that will bug us or get on our nerves. That's all because that's our own tar that we haven't worked out yet, that we haven't come to peace or made certain rearrangements in our mind about how we perceive things. And so this tar, all of these polarized energies that are collected within this body, what there is a sense of for me is that what there is a sense of is the earth itself has its own tar body. And this, in conjunction with the planetary alignment that's occurring, that's said to occur for 2012 and beyond, where we're basically aligning with this black hole and the sun, and the way I see it, there's just more information coming from this black hole in a perfect ducks in a row alignment that's going to be amplified and lit through the sun's rays into our bodies, into our DNA, into the fields of green that house the vegetables that we eat, or that, rain sunshine upon the cows that you might eat, or whatever it is you eat, the water, all of nature, but that everything is touched by everything else, and in a sense we're aligning with a lot of everything else, and a lot of new everything else is streaming through these rays of light as information coming into our beings and into our consciousness, into our light fields, into our bodies. So it feels that on top of the healing, the regeneration that's occurring on a whole, because we are stepping up to speed, we are looking at ourselves and our lives and making choices that serve us, that are in alignment with our harmony, our sense of truth and happiness. And this is very empowering and very powerful to be around. And you'll notice more and more people in your circles will be stepping into their power. And this is very exciting to be a part of at this time, because we can all accelerate and jump hoops together, as it were, dimensional hoops, which we'll get into later. But so it seems that as the light comes in, what happens is the tar body has found a very nice place to settle itself. We're talking now again about the auric field, the layer that's within the auric field. And when it's time to heal, I mean, it's not always easy to get rid of the tar body or to release layers connected to certain past issues. Although sometimes with saying that, it can be with great ease. Some things are just ready to release. We just have to bring our consciousness there. The tar body does become comfortable though, and it can steer, it can take over the navigation of a full vehicle, of your vehicle, of your system, and it can lead us into inappropriate situations over and over and over again. We're not learning our lessons because we still haven't gotten to the root core and worked out the deeper issues pertaining to a situation. Um, so that it can become invisible to us and we can become invisible to it, and we can move on without the hindrance or the limiting triggers that certain issues may bring to rise in the mental body, stimulating the tar body to react perhaps emotionally, and then also the physical memory in the cells of the body. So what we're doing is all this tar that we've collected individually and the tar body of the earth is being challenged by the extraordinary voltage of electric light and coming into greater and greater alignment over time. This information, this light's coming into us, and so as there is more and more light, there's less and less shadow. There's less and less room for darkness. So the darkness, where it has been hosted very well on this planet, as this planet we can imagine has, or it feels, maybe this is my own perspective, but it feels that we have really been making great choices as human beings on this earth, from a base level that's rooted in fear. And we're beginning to, as we heal ourselves, we're clearing our channels. We're becoming more aware, more awakened, and so drawing more light into us as we exercise and excise and release and cut out and make peace with and bless and let go of the darkness of all that has been shadowed. And so we become more powerful in the light of our own selves and in the light of the universe that is a reflection of the self. But when this light comes through, the tar body says, mm-mm, and it tries to hold on. It tries to play dirty games. It's very manipulative. It'll trick us and it'll play into our insecurities and our fears. And we have to be very, very conscious and very, very on our toes in dealing with the extraction of the tar body. In a sense, you're always on standby. You're always on call to consciously extract those parts of self that feed it, that are triggered by it, and that don't serve us ultimately, or that don't serve the highest good of all. Ultimately, all this stuff that we talk about, that we share, is all about channeling the grid for the highest good of all. It's just information that's coming through, and we can all do it, and it's just about sharing that information. So, being fatigued, on one hand, yes, we're recharging, we're refueling, rewiring, and that's a part of it. On the other hand, we can recognize where am I feeling a constant fatigue for lengths of period over my life because I'm not looking at certain things in my life that need to be dealt with. Is this something that's occurring for you? Is it? Think about that right now. When do you seem to get tired? When certain situations, social situations come up, certain, I don't know, family situations, financial situations, work situations, when do you find yourself getting really low energy all of a sudden? What's there? And obviously there's certain things, as we're guided, we're not supposed to maybe do everything just because we can. We follow our divine guidance and do what that serves. But with that, does what we're doing serve our higher good, serve the part of ourselves, the picture, the vision of our true self that we know is us? Does what you're doing right now at this moment, serve the fullness of that, of all of you coming into being? And that's a very important question you can ask yourself right now, and consider. So as we come into greater light, we're coming into this push-pull with the tar body. So as more light is being ushered in, the tar body is going to try to hold on as tight as it can to a good thing that it's had. But it doesn't mean that it's not possible. You can definitely release those parts of self that don't serve.